Well, as we just learned from Kevin, the first day of fall is knocking on our door. Cooler weather is coming, and that means time to bring a few plants indoors. Here with the dirt on prepping plants for the indoors with the U of I Extension, we have horticulture educator Ryan Pankop back with us. All right, so tomorrow's the first day of fall. The temperature, looking at the forecast, it does look like things are going to start cooling down. When is the right time to bring those outdoor plants indoors?
Well, pretty soon. So, houseplants what we're talking about. So I have a lot of houseplants I put out on our deck and on our patio in the summertime just so they can get some more sunlight and grow a little more during the summer. They're tropical plants, so they're not native to Illinois, so they can't handle those cold temperatures. So, once we start to get down to about 55 at night, that's kind of the threshold, and gosh, 45 is really, it's going to kill plants.
Let's talk specifically, you mentioned tropical plants, so let's kind of give some examples for people who may have some plants outside that aren't aware that they probably ought to come inside. Hibiscus, I'm guessing, maybe?
Yeah, it's tropical. I mean, just really like most all of our houseplants.
Ferns?
We use as houseplants. Some of the ferns are, some of them aren't. Yeah, okay. So I guess they may not be considered a tropical plant necessarily.
What about succulents?
Succulents, very much so. Yeah, a lot of the succulents, like I think my most sensitive plant that I have out right now is a pencil cactus, which is a succulent. And last year it got a little bit of damage from being out.
A little too long?
Yeah, a little too long. And I mean, it was just one of those nights where it barely got below about 60 overnight, but that plant didn't like it. And it showed me that it needed to come in then.
Well, I would hate to think what a cactus would do to you, Ryan, if it weren't happy with being outside for too long. Now, there are some things you need to be mindful of bringing these house plants that are outside inside for the fall and winter season. What do we need to be most mindful of?
Yeah, I think the big tip I like to give folks is to check for insects. There are just a ton of insects out there in the world that'll get on these plants. And I've had a lot of people call me that have brought those insects inside and they've spread to all their other houseplants.
Oh,
so
no.
You really need to check closely. And it's not hard to check, like some of the things, like there's some scale insects they're little flecks that are stuck to the leaves. You can see them. I was just looking at my plants this morning. I could see some leaf feeding insects on there, that were, feeding on the leaves. We need to get those off. So the really easy way to do that is to just spray them with a steady stream of water. Spray off those bugs. That's really simple, non-invasive way to kind of get rid of the insects. If you needed to, if you had a bad enough infestation of something, you should treat them with an insecticide outdoors before you bring them in, because a lot easier to do that in an outdoor setting. And I think one of the biggest ways that we had these hitchhikers coming in is in the soil of your pot. So ants.
Oh, gosh, and spiders.
Spiders, earwigs, lots of things. So in that case, no need for an insecticide there. You can just simply soak that pot in a bucket of water and it flushes all the insects out and you can get rid of them that way. So there's some real easy ways that you can rid yourself.
Now, when plants are outside, they may have a different watering schedule than when you bring them inside. So how do we know what's right there?
Well, the best recommendation, this seems like such common sense, but just check the soil. Stick your finger in and check the soil for when you need to water, just to know how often, because that's going to change. Outside, they probably need to be watered more frequently, especially in the sunny spot I put mine in. When I bring them inside, they have less sun. They're exposed to less heat and wind and things, so they don't need water quite as often a lot of times. But one thing I always want to caution folks about is just that drastic change from going outside to inside in a day. That shocks a plant. Plants don't really like that quick change in their environment. So if you can soften that, if you can take them in for a few hours at a time, over the course of a week, that can really help your plants kind of adjust to this change. So
that sounds like a high maintenance plant, Ryan.
It is. It is. All my plants are high maintenance.
I bet so, except for that cactus. But I'm sure he'll have words for you this year. Okay, great tips there. If you want to maybe have a little recap, want to learn a little bit more about Ryan's tips, there's a look at how you can reach him at the U of I at the Illinois Extension. We'll have all of these different links over at CILiving.tv. Ryan.